Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. You know how much we love dissecting all the latest tips and tricks, and today we're taking a look at Think Media's advice on launching a podcast in 2024.
It's a good one.
It is. Their YouTube video is a goldmine. But let's be real, I could only absorb so much from just watching it, so I brought in an expert to really break it down.
Well, I'm excited to dive in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the thing that really struck me about the Think Media video is how they just cut to the chase.
Yeah,
Their big message, don't overthink it, just hit record.
I love that. Because, it's so easy to get bogged down in the details.
Right.
Especially when you're starting out. You can spend weeks just researching microphones.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you never even hit record.
Yeah, you get stuck in that analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And they're just like cut through the noise. The most important thing is to start creating.
So true. So you're inspired, you're ready to hit record.
Yeah.
What do you name this thing?
That's the age-old question.
Yeah.
Think Media actually has a really interesting tip.
Okay.
They suggest combining a random word with your name. Like, seriously.
Okay, I'm listening.
It sounds kind of simple, but it can actually be really effective. They give the example of Omar from Think Media.
Okay.
His podcast is called The Department with Omar Ellery.
Oh, department. I see.
It's catchy, right?
Yeah, it is. It's memorable.
Yeah, and it kind of makes you curious, like, what's the department about?
Right. What is that department?
Exactly. So what random word pops into your mind right now?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wavelengths is coming to mind.
Wavelengths.
Yeah, I like it. It's intriguing.
Okay, so we've got a name for my new podcast, Wavelengths. Now what?
Well, you need some artwork. Think Media emphasizes that even though podcasting is audio-visual branding is still important.
Right. You got to have that cover art.
Exactly. They recommend Canva and Fiverr for creating your artwork.
Canva makes sense. Super user-friendly.
Yeah, you can find some great templates on there. Or if you want something more custom, you can connect with a designer on Fiverr. Perfect. Okay, so we've got our catchy name. We've got our eye-catching artwork. How do we actually get this podcast out there for people to listen to?
Distribution. That's where a podcast distribution site comes in. Think Media describes it as like a central hub.
Ah.
So you upload your audio to this site, like Podcastle, for example.
Okay.
And it handles distributing it to all the major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, you name it.
That is so much easier than what I had to do when I first started podcasting.
Oh, I bet.
It was a nightmare, figuring out how to get it on all the different platforms.
Yeah, it can be a lot of manual work, but these sites just streamline the whole process.
Technology saving us time and headaches.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, here's a tip that might surprise you. Think Media recommends starting with at least 3 episodes ready to go.
Wait, really? I always thought the advice was just start with one and see how it goes.
That's a common misconception. They actually advocate for having multiple episodes ready to go.
Huh. Interesting. Why is that?
Well, it gives you more options for your release strategy. You could launch with all 3 at once.
It's like a binge drop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Give your listeners a binge-worthy experience. Or you can space them out and release them weekly.
I see. So you've got that buffer. You're not scrambling to create new content every week.
Exactly. It takes the pressure off, especially when you're just starting out.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, 3 episodes ready to go. What do I need to record them?
You might be surprised to hear this, but Think Media actually suggests starting with what you probably already have, your smartphone.
Hold on. My phone can actually produce decent audio for a podcast.
You'd be surprised. Especially with the help of some AI audio enhancement tools. Think Media demonstrates this in their video using Podcastle.
Okay.
And the results are pretty impressive. Even basic phone recordings can sound really professional.
Wow, technology is amazing.
Right. It really makes podcasting so much more accessible. You don't need a fancy studio or expensive equipment to get started.
I love that. So if someone's listening and they're thinking, I've got this great podcast idea, they don't have to go out and buy a bunch of gear.
Exactly. Just grab your phone and start recording.
Love it. Now, I know some people might be thinking, okay, but what about background noise?
That's a valid concern. But Think Media has you covered.
Okay.
They highlight some AI-powered editing tools in Podcastle that can clean up your audio,
Oh, nice.
like removing background noise, long pauses, even those ums and ahs that we all tend to do.
Because it's like magic.
Pretty much, it can really elevate the quality of your recordings.
I bet, especially if you don't have a perfectly quiet recording space.
Exactly. These tools are lifesavers. Now, another thing Think Media emphasizes is the importance of music.
Oh, yeah. Music can totally set the mood.
Absolutely. It adds another layer to the listening experience. And Podcastle actually has a library of royalty-free music you can use in your episodes.
That's awesome. So you don't have to worry about copyright issues.
Exactly. It's all ready to go.
You know, even something as simple as adding a little intro music can make a big difference.
Oh, for sure.
I remember when I first started my podcast, a friend suggested I add some intro music. And it instantly elevated the whole feel of the show.
It's those little touches that can really make a podcast stand out. Okay, so you've recorded your episodes, you've edited them, you've added some music, now it's time to publish them.
Okay, take us through that process.
Think Media makes it sound pretty straightforward.
Okay.
First, you give your episodes catchy titles, something that will entice people to click and listen.
Right. Got to hook them in.
Exactly. Then you publish them to your distribution site, and from there, it automatically sends them out to all the major listening platforms.
So it's really a one-stop shop.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It takes care of all the technical stuff for you.
I love that. So convenient.
Yeah. But Think Media emphasizes that publishing is just the first step.
Right.
Promotion is key. You've got to get your podcast out there in front of people.
Makes sense. You could have the best podcast in the world, but if nobody knows about it,
Exactly.
it's not going to reach anyone.
So what are some ways to promote your podcast?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because Think Media has some great tips for that.
Okay, lay them on us.
They recommend creating engaging social media content around each episode, like short clips.
Oh, like teasers and behind-the-scenes stuff?
Exactly. Things that will pique people's interest and make them want to listen. They even suggest using platforms like YouTube Shorts and TikTok.
Makes sense. Short-form video is huge these days.
It is. So get creative. Think outside the box. What are some ways you can get people excited about your podcast?
Ooh, that's a fun challenge. I like that.
Right. It's all about getting that word out there, building that buzz.
Absolutely.
And that's what this whole deep dive is about, right? Taking inspiration from the experts and turning it into action.
Exactly. We've got all these amazing tools and resources at our fingertips.
So it's time to use them.
Let's do it.
You know, it's really inspiring to see how accessible podcasting has become.
It is, right?
I mean, the tools and the resources that we've been talking about, they really empower anyone to share their voice with the world.
Absolutely. It's like Think Media says, just hit record. You don't need a ton of fancy equipment or a big budget to get started.
Right. And that's what's so exciting about this whole thing.
It is.
Yeah.
But with so many podcasts out there,
Right.
finding your audience and standing out, that's key.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So it's not just about having great audio quality.
No.
It's about connecting with the right people.
Exactly. Think Media talks about the importance of finding your niche.
Yeah.
And creating content that really resonates with your target audience.
Yeah. It's about having something meaningful to say.
Mm-hmm.
Building a community around your content.
Yeah.
Not just chasing downloads or trying to go viral.
Right. It's got to come from a place of passion.
Yeah.
It's got to be something that you're genuinely excited about.
I've experienced that firsthand as both a listener and a creator. There's something so intimate and engaging about listening to a podcast.
Oh, for sure.
It's like having a conversation with a friend,
Yeah.
even if that friend is a complete stranger on the other side of the world.
Exactly. And that's what keeps people coming back for more.
It is that connection.
That
Yeah.
feeling of being part of something bigger than themselves.
Yeah, and that's something that any aspiring podcaster can achieve,
Absolutely.
regardless of experience or resources.
Yep. As long as they have a passion for something and a desire to share it.
Passion is contagious.
It is. When you're genuinely excited about something, it shines through in your voice
It does.
and your content.
Right.
And that's what draws people in.
So if someone is listening to this right now and they're thinking, I have an idea for a podcast,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure where to start.
I would echo Think Media's advice. Don't overthink it. Just press record.
Yes.
Start with what you have. Experiment. And most importantly, have fun.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Don't let perfection be the enemy of good.
Right.
Just get started and let your passion guide you.
Absolutely. And remember, there's a whole community of podcasters out there
Yeah,
willing to support and encourage you along the way.
that's so true. The podcasting community is surprisingly supportive and collaborative.
It is.
It's inspiring to see people helping each other succeed.
Mm-hmm. And it's a growing and diverse community, too.
It is.
The future podcasting is looking bright.
It really is. Where do you see podcasting headed?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What excites you about the future of this space?
Well, one trend that I find fascinating is the rise of interactive podcasts.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned choose your own adventure storylines earlier.
Exactly.
I could see how that would be a game changer for audience
Oh,
engagement.
for sure. It transforms passive listening into an active experience,
Right.
and it opens up so many creative possibilities.
Yeah, I can see this being a huge opportunity for education and training, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine interactive podcasts where you can test your knowledge or even practice real-world skills.
The possibilities are
They
endless.
are.
What else? Well, another area that I'm excited about is the increasing integration of AI into podcasting.
We talked about AI-powered editing tools earlier. What other applications of AI are you seeing?
Think about AI-powered transcription and translation tools.
Okay.
These can make podcasts accessible to a much wider audience, breaking down language barriers and reaching people all over the world.
That's incredible. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that.
Yeah, it's amazing. AI can also be used to personalize the listening experience.
too.
Imagine podcasts that adapt to your interests, your learning style, even your mood.
Okay, now we're getting really futuristic.
Right.
But I love it. It sounds like the future of podcasting is all about pushing boundaries and creating truly immersive experiences for listeners.
Absolutely. And at the heart of it all is the power of human connection. Podcasts allow us to connect with each other,
Mm-hmm.
share our stories, learn from each other's experiences. That's what makes this medium so special.
It really is. You know, listening to you talk about the future of podcasting,
Yeah.
it makes me feel so optimistic.
Me too.
It's clear that this medium has the potential to make a real difference in the world.
I wholeheartedly agree. So to anyone listening who's been thinking about starting a podcast,
Yeah.
I encourage you to take that leap and share your voice.
The world is waiting to hear what you have to say.
Exactly. And remember, Think Media emphasizes the most important thing is to just start.
Start somewhere.
Yeah. Don't let fear or doubt hold you back.
Yeah.
Embrace the journey. Have fun.
Yeah.
And connect with your audience. The possibilities are limitless.
I love that. So much good stuff to think about as we move into the final part of our deep dive.
It is. There's a lot to unpack here.
There is. But I think that's a good place to pause for now.
Okay.
We'll be back soon to wrap things up and explore even more of what the future holds for this amazing medium.
So one trend that I find fascinating is the rise of interactive podcasts where listeners can actively participate in the story.
You mentioned choose your own adventure storylines earlier.
Hmm.
I can see how that would be a game changer for audience engagement.
Exactly. It transforms passive listening into an active experience, and it opens up so many creative possibilities for storytelling and content creation.
I can also see this being a huge opportunity for education and training.
Mm.
Imagine interactive podcasts where you can test your knowledge or even practice real-world skills.
The possibilities are truly endless. Another area I'm excited about is the increasing integration of AI into podcasting.
We talked about AI-powered editing tools earlier. What other applications of AI are you seeing?
Think about AI-powered transcription and translation tools. These can make podcasts accessible to a much wider audience, breaking down language barriers and reaching people all over the world.
That's an incredible point. It really democratizes access to information and allows for greater cultural exchange through podcasting.
AI can also be used to personalize the listening experience. Imagine podcasts that adapt to your interests, learning style, and even your mood.
Now that's what I call a deep dive. It sounds like the future of podcasting is all about pushing boundaries and creating truly immersive experiences for listeners.
And at the heart of it all is the power of human connection. Podcasts allow us to connect with each other, share our stories, and learn from each other's experiences. That's what makes this medium so special.
You know, listening to you talk about the future of podcasting makes me feel so optimistic. It's clear that this medium has the potential to make a real difference in the world.
I wholeheartedly agree. So to anyone listening who's been thinking about starting a podcast, I encourage you to take that leap and share your voice.
The world is waiting to hear what you have to say. And remember, as Think Media emphasizes, the most important thing is to just start.
Don't let fear or doubt hold you back. Embrace the journey. Have fun and connect with your audience. The possibilities are limitless.
Well, I think that wraps up our deep dive into the world of podcasting. We've explored everything from finding your niche to the exciting future of this dynamic medium.
We've unpacked some great insights from the Think Media video and hopefully inspired you to take your podcasting journey to the next level.
Thank you for joining us and happy podcasting.